Okay, so we're getting up and moving again. This person doesn't know how to drive. Literally does not know how to, that's all I'm gonna say is they Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the all-new Jeep Gladiator Rubicon Eco-Diesel. First and foremost, though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Gladiator. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below where you guys can check out what they have currently. And if you have any questions whatsoever, just ask for Nick or Eric. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a 3-liter turbo diesel V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission, obviously known as the Eco-Diesel. And power outputs on this: 442 pound-feet of torque, 260 horsepower, fuel economy well into the 20s in terms of what you'd be able to average. So this is economical and powerful. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention that if you want to see more reviews just like this, then I recommend that you subscribe, because I post daily content on a variety of vehicles. So anyways, let's get into the front end. So you can see here, we've got the Rubicon hood vents, and then this is actually to enable you to lower down the windshield and obviously not damage the hood. And then we have our Rubicon logo here on the side with the red logo. And then you guys can see here with the turn signal daytime running light area, and then also more daytime running light action here with the headlights. And then we have Jeep's signature front grille here. Notice it's all body painted on this one. And then look, we've got the steel bumper group, fog lights here on the front end. We got the red recovery hooks, tow hooks, whatever you want to call them. And well, there's the front. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 285, 70, 17 in the front, and in the rear, aka we've got 33s. We have that cool off-roader type design, and we got an old school Jeep there on the wheel. Now, with the Gladiator, you actually get Fox shocks with the Rubicon package, which is a huge upgrade compared to what you get with the Wrangler Rubicon, where you just have the Mopar shocks, which, if you watch the channel, you know I'm not exactly a fan. But anyways, we have a solid front axle in normal Jeep fashion, and then we have our trail rated 4x4 badge, Jeep badge down below. And then notice the gigantic fender flares. This also has the rock rails from the factory, and well, there's your full side view. So here's our key fob. You guys can see we have our unlock function, our lock function, and then remote starts, and you know, it's normal Jeep key fob. Now our payload capacity is actually less than 1,000 pounds here with the Gladiator Eco-Diesel Rubicon, so just kind of be aware of that. And then you can see here with the LED bed lights, you can get liner from the factory. This particular one just doesn't have it. And then the tailgate's super light. I think it's like the lightest truck tailgate on the planet. Now we've got these cool LED lights here in the back, and then we have our Eco-Diesel badge down below, and then you guys can see with the recovery hooks here on the back end, and then the receiver hitch. And then if we peep down below, you guys can see here with kind of like the rear suspension, again solid rear axle with this as well, which is pretty cool. And then the spare tire just underneath here, obviously not in the back like the Wrangler. And well, there's the back. Now popping inside here, you guys can see we've got the red stitching, again part of the Rubicon package with the leather padding, and then this one has the leather seats, again with the red stitching. And getting in's pretty easy. You do have a grab handle to help out if you need that. And then here's legroom. There's your headroom, and then you got all the storage space here. A couple of vents, and then you get your window controls here for the center, and USB port. This one doesn't have a power outlet, interesting. And then you got some cup holders down below, and then we of course have our cup holder armrest, and you got the roll cage here in the back, because you can take the top off just like the Wrangler. And then you can open the window here in the back. It's just manual with the operation. Let's pop to the front. So here is the front door panel. You guys can see with the leather trim and then the red stitching. We have our mirror adjustment here, and then here's a quick look at the mirrors themselves. And here are the front seats. Rubicon there, again with the red stitching, and again this one has the leather seat package. And then you have all of your adjustments here on the side. It's all manual. And here's the pedal layout. And we have our light controls here. Notice we got our fog lights and our cargo light. Steering wheel is manually adjustable. Let's pop in. So here's the steering wheel. We've got the leather wrapped trim all around, and then you can see with the red contrasted stitching. Radio controls here on the back. We do have some controls for the center stack, voice command phone controls, and then our cruise control as well. We have our turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock, and there you go. So here's our gauge clutch. You guys can see analog gauges, and notice the lower red line because again, diesel life, right? And you got like general vehicle information here, right? Including tire pressure, and then this is cool because it's with the off-road stuff. And then you guys can see, look at that, with the fuel economy. Again, that's why you go for the Eco-Diesel. But other than that, that's most of the stuff for the center. So here is the infotainment screen. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And we have a zoom function with that as well. And then as for the rest of the infotainment screen, first off, you guys can see dual zone climate controls here in the center. And then we do have heated seats and a heated steering wheel. And moving on from that to the rest of the tabs, we do have the off-road pages that come with, you know, every single off-road ready Jeep. And other than that, it's all for the center. Of course, we have the red dash because, again, Rubicon, and then you can see with the red stitching there. And then down below, we've got a bunch of analog controls. So for like the radio, the dual zone climate system, the seats, we have our off-road cruise control, window controls here in the center, and then our little media center here, and then 12 volt. And then you guys can see that this one actually doesn't have the auxiliary switch. It just has some space there. We have our Off-Road Plus sway bar disconnect, and then you guys can see front and rear lockers because Rubicon life. Then we have our shifter here for the 8-speed automatic transmission. And then our drive line select. So we have 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, neutral, and then 4-wheel low. And you guys can see here with the parking brake, a couple cup holders, and then center console. A USB there. And then here's a quick look at the glove box. And last but not least, the front part of this is just like the Wrangler. It's once you head to the back that it gets different. So like you can take off the top just like the Wrangler with those little latches. Tools for the back just like the Wrangler. But again, it's just like, basically, I feel like if you just like sawed off from like right here, like front seats, and then forward, it's basically a Wrangler, and then the back is all Gladiator. But there's a top. Now that we've gone over this Eco-Diesel Rubicon, let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, let's set off. So, setting off here in the diesel Rubicon. And they actually have a bunch of diesels that are a lower down package, which I might review another day because it might be a good video to go over the quote-unquote affordable Eco-Diesel, if you can say such a thing. Because, you know, Wranglers and Gladiators have gotten pretty expensive over the last year or so. But anyways, first off, this drives just like any other Gladiator from like a maneuverability and suspension standpoint. It doesn't feel any different, you know, compared to the V6. It's once you put your foot into the pedal that you realize there's a big difference. And the thing about the Gladiator compared to the Wrangler is you don't have a lot of powertrain options. So like with the Gladiator, you have the V6 and you have this. You don't have a 6.4 Hemi as an option. You don't have a 4xe quite yet. You don't have the 2.0 turbo as an option. And so with the Gladiator, it's pretty easy, I think, to choose a powertrain, aka this, because, you know, the V6 isn't bad, but like this is so much better because look at it from a power perspective, okay? This has 260 horsepower, the V6 has 285, so 25 more horsepower with the V6. But then you look at the torque, the V6 has 260, this has 442 pound-feet of torque. And so the drivability with this is just so much better compared to the Pentastar V6. It's like a night and day difference. And like for me, if I was gonna buy a Gladiator, it's gonna be Eco-Diesel right now from a powertrain perspective. But other stuff, with the Rubicon, because you got these Fox shocks, actually handles pretty good. And I will say that I feel like it does a pretty solid job going over bumps. The compression from the shocks is pretty decent. I don't know what these people are doing. I'm assuming they're going straight, but they're in the turn lane. I'll be back. Okay, so we're getting up and moving again. This person doesn't know how to drive. Literally does not know how to. That's all I'm gonna say is they don't understand that you can turn right at a stoplight as long as you stop before you turn. Watch this. We're probably gonna have to sit here again until, yep. They are literally not gonna move. I think I might have to honk the horn on the video for the first time ever. No, they decide to pull out as soon as this traffic pull. Some people, I'm gonna leave that in the video because that person is the dumbest driver I have seen all day. So we're gonna get up and get our acceleration here at the Eco-Diesel. See, being turbocharged, you don't get as much power loss here at elevation, and yeah, that torque is just so substantial. And so you guys can see with how it moves these 33s, if you put 35s, 37s, no problem whatsoever. It's still going to move them just fine. So let's get into summing things up here with the Eco-Diesel. First off, you know, it looks just like any other Gladiator Rubicon, which I think Gladiator Rubicon looks really good. I will say though, this is a vehicle that looks so much better when you like lift and put, you know, bigger tires on it. Like 37s on a Gladiator, ooh, that's the sweet spot. Interior, Jeep's interior still to this day, it's still really nice. Like this was released for the 2018 model year with the Wrangler in terms of this like interior design, and it still really works. And then from a driving perspective, you know, with the Fox shocks and everything, it's pretty comfortable. Again, still have solid axles, so it still drives like a Jeep, but overall it's really solid. And to finish things up, if you're gonna get a Gladiator, I recommend get the Eco-Diesel because it's so much. If they offered the 4xe or the 6.4 Hemi, like I might, you know, say differently, but since they only offer the V6 in the Eco-Diesel, it's like Eco-Diesel, like it seems pretty straightforward. Let me know what you guys think. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this Eco-Diesel Rubicon. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Crosser here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this truck. Check out the info in the description down below. Ask for Nick or Eric if you have any questions. I'll see you.